So hello, today we're going to talk about articles anywhere, and I'll be pretty much showing you live what it's doing and what you can do with it. So I've got no slides, and before I start, it was pretty late last night and I'm really too old to do that, so if I zone out, you just snap your fingers or so I'll start right in there. Articles Anywhere, it started quite some years ago. I started this extension and I rewrote it earlier this year. And it's become a pretty powerful beast, and you can do some amazing stuff with it. And I want to share that with you. If I explain stuff and you don't get it, or it hinders you from getting the next step I'm going to, please ask that I can explain it more in detail. If you have questions of more of implementation, like how could I do this or that, it's better to wait to the end. In the question time, then we can get into that. So what is Articles Anywhere? Basically, it's a plugin that allows you to put in article information in another place, and it can pretty much put any information that's attached to the article. And I'll show you some examples. So I've got this website. It's just a basic website. I created some articles to play around with and show you stuff. So I've got an animals and a fruit section, and yeah, each article is pretty much just a lorem ipsum text with an image. And this is just to show you some stuff. So what you can do is, if you want to create an article, we'll call this another apple, and you want the actual Apple article in this, all you do is write curly bracket article space Apple, which is the name of the article, and close it. And now we should have, we don't have, let's see if I wrote this correctly. Oh, apples, sorry there. Other apples. So now we have the apples article inside this. This is probably not useful, but it can help you. Like, this works in an article now, but you can also do this in a module or anywhere else you can enter text. But you probably want to use this to not put the entire article, but only certain bits of information of the article. And that's where we is this large enough to read, by the way, or should I zoom in more in the back? All okay. This is what I call, and most people call, the plugin tags, like with the curly braces. And within these you can put data tags. If you put nothing, it defaults to the layout, so the entire article. But if I enter title here and save it, then we refresh, you see we only get the title. And you're free to put any other text in there as well, and then maybe put title again, and all the data text, so the thing in the square braces, in the brackets, will be converted to whatever is attached to it. So in this case we get apples, but you can make cool stuff, like, let's say we want first the title, and we want to make that an H2, and then we want the intro text, and then underneath we want to read more button. Then we have title, intro text, and read more button. And again, you can do this in an article. You can also do this in a module. or in the description of a virtual mart or a Hika shop item, or wherever you want. So this is pretty much the basics of how it's working. So you create a tag and you tell it what to show you, what article to show, and then you use data tags inside to tell it what actual information you want to show. But this is just one article, and when this is also in the free version. I also have a pro version of Articles Anywhere, and then it becomes interesting because you can show multiple articles by using the articles tag and then telling it what articles you want to show. So in this case we have a fruit category and an animals category. So we could say we'll show all animals and then do the same, but that's from a category. So from the category animals, we want to show all articles and show the title, intro text, and read more. And now we have snakes, dogs, and cats. And pretty much now with a few lines you create your own little blog view, but you're completely free how you want to style this and how you want to organize it. So for instance, you could say we want to go to the HTML and say we want this to be a div. We'll just use the bootstrap classes. That would be row fluid. Close it. And we want each article to be in a div. I don't know, class span 4. Like that. So it looks a bit jumbled up here, but when we go to the front end, we have 3 articles next to each other. And you can style that however you want, and we'll make a well of it. No. The question is, do you need to remove the paragraph tags here? Because potentially there are paragraph tags inside the intro text that could mess up the HTML structure. But Articles Anywhere will clean that up and see if it needs to remove these or not. Just do this. So now we've got a pretty little layout. But this is just text, and like we learned this morning, text is old. Images are too, but I'll show you an example with images. When we go to the, I'll just open another tab. When we go to one of the articles, you can see here where I've just put some lorem ipsum intro text and a full text that has an image. And I have also attached an intro image, which is, by the way, for the apples. I see I've attached the bananas image. I don't know why. Let's do fruit, apples. We'll do the apples one. So you might want to show the intro image. So you do image intro. And on my website you can find all these possible data tags that you can use to do stuff. Now you've got the intro image up there. But the intro image is maybe not the most, is maybe not what you want, and your client just puts images in the text, and you would just want this image that is right here in the content. We can also do that. Instead of saying image intro, we just say we want the first image in the content, and it searches the content for any images. So if there's 3 images in there and you say image 3, it will place the 3rd image If there's no third image, it will place nothing. And now you can see the snakes one doesn't have an image in the text and the other two do. So you can create block views like this pretty easily. Let's see. I'll just explain a few more data tag stuff. If you want to put in the complete text, we'll just remove the image just to make it a bit easier to see what happened. Now you get this complete text, and let's say your setup is not working with intro images or intro text, but you just have complete text and you just want like the first 20 words or whatever. What you can do is say we want to limit it by so many words or characters or paragraphs. And of course now, then this is because I went to bed at 3 o'clock. I don't remember the syntax for this, but maybe I can look this up in the article thing. So there's an editor button that can help you with this as well. So here we can say do all text, say the first 100 characters. Let's just put in an example. Okay, limit is 100, fine. Limit is 100. And now you see it limits it to 100, puts the little dots at the end. So those are the basics. Let's see, where are we on time? Quarter of an hour, great. So there's a few websites out there that use Articles Anywhere in a way that I never imagined that it would be used like. And that's really cool. So there's the Byte website. Byte is a Dutch host, and it's pretty much the go-to host for Dutch Joomla developers, but also WordPress and such. Their website is created by Hans from Perfect Web Team, and it's pretty much built on in Articles Anywhere. So, and if you would switch off the Articles Anywhere plugin, you would only see a few tags on the website, and everything inside it. I'll see if the internet will. So he's using articles for everything. So this whole page is built up with different articles, and he's using Articles Anywhere to pull in these different snippets of data from images to little stuff from all over the place. The good thing about this is that your client just has to have access and be worried with the article manager. You can edit all the data in there. These are not modules. They can be modules, but it's just a custom module that is taking the data from another article and displaying it. So they don't have to go into modules to edit text. It's all article based.
So each section is an individual article?
Yeah, each section here would be a different article that has a link or not. Or so you can do funky stuff with it. I'll show you a few more cool tricks. So the read more button will show you read more text. Another tag is the link button. So you can also do link and then close the link and then put whatever. Oh, that's a square brace. So link and then a closing link tag, data tag, and then put in there whatever you want. So that could be just some text like readme, or an image, or even the title. So now we have a link called with the title, or you could say we want to read more about. So it's pretty versatile. If you want to really customize stuff, you can even go into the HTML and create your own links and add class names and stuff. And instead of using these data tags, you can create a link and say the href would be the URL to the article. And then you can give that a class, like classes button or whatever. Or BTN, that would be BTN. And this would be a normal link, HTML link. And this would also work. So you're pretty free to use the data in any way you want. And you've got a lot of data to play with. So you've got the title, but you've also got the ID, so you can make every row use the article ID of the article, for instance. Now if we look, and let's see, can we plus this? Yes. So now we have an article span 4, article 14, because it's using the ID number of the article. Or maybe you don't want the ID, but you want the alias. And now it's called article snakes. So now you have a class in there, then you can style this article or this block how you want it. So you don't have to look for a component that does this and has all the features you want. With articles anywhere, you can pretty much create what you need and how you want to build it up. The cool thing is you can also combine this with other extensions. For instance, let's trash this. Like that. And say, I want to, let's get back to the editor. I want all the articles from category, let's use the other one now, and that would be fruit. And close the articles. And we're going to use, in this case, tabs, and it's another extension of mine. Let's create a tab. Let's put in the title of the article in the tab title, and then put in the intro text, for this case, or whatever data you want. And now we come into the if statements. Articles Anywhere supports basic if statements. So you can ask it if a certain value, a condition. So you say if ID is this, or if there is a full text, you would just say if full text, and it will check if it's empty or not. You can do stuff, but you can also say if last, which means if it's the last article that is returned in this category fruit, we will close the tabs in this case. Articles, great. See, you're more awake than me. So what would this look like? Just zoom out a bit. Come on, this one. Yeah. So this is not about tabs, but I'll explain. With the tabs extension, you create multiple. We'll create a new setup here, just so you know how that one works. You do a tab, tab 1, or I can just use the editor button for that. So you can have a title, tab 1, and my tab 2, insert. So the syntax is you have a tab and then the title of the tab, and then the ending one is the closing one. It closes all these tabs. So that's a multiple or a plural version. So we just recreated that with Articles Anywhere. So now it's doing this, what's in between it, for every article it finds. And it's skipping this for every article except the last one, And the result is this. So now we have a nice tab set with all the articles in there. If we add an article, it will appear there. If we, for instance, unpublish, we're in the fruit section, yeah. Publish this. We see that apple disappears, the last one. You can tell it to say, well, that's all fine, but what ordering is this? Maybe we want to order by title. And then we have them nicely ordered alphabetically. You can say we want to order them by created date or order them by title but descending. So now it starts at the end. Let's just put in the image 1 in there. But I want the image 1 to have a width of 100 pixels. So now with the image tag and with most data tags, you can add extra attributes in there to tell it how it should do stuff. So we saw that with the limit on the text. With the image tag, you can override anything that's in the original article. So if you just say, I want the image 1, it will grab the image tag out of the content and use that, whatever width you have set in that and stuff like that. But you can override whatever value you want. So you can use that and say, I want a width of this, I want the alt tag to be read more, I want to link it, like read more. I want to make a link from it. So now we have this, and if you click here, you go to the article. So that's, I think it's pretty awesome. But this is just ugly and it's just basic Joomla template, but you can go crazy with this. So I want to show you a few examples of a cool website. And if you're into Joomla, you should also be into wrestling. So this is from one of my users, and I've been in contact with him a lot over the past months when I was recoding Articles Anywhere. And this website is pretty much running on Articles Anywhere. And one of the examples, which is close to what we just showed, is this one. I'll blow it up a bit. So he's actually using tabs here at the top. So you can just switch to this. What he's doing is, in the first tab, he's showing all the articles in a certain category. So that would be fighters or whatever it is. And this number is the total number of articles that are found. So if we reproduce that in our own little thing, is we want to create a tab that says I will do it like this. We'll just duplicate it. We want a tab at the top that says all, and we'll just put it in a title just to make it a bit clearer what we're doing. All, and then between braces, sorry, we want it like this. We want to see the total number of articles. So let's do this. And then inside we want all the articles. So let's see how I would do this. I actually have this on another one. So you could end this, Or say we only want this tab on the first one, which would be the way to do this. So if first, come on, if first we want to open the tab, if, closing if, and after that we want the intro image like that, and that's it pretty much. And then at the end we want to close this tabs thing. Let's see what we get there. So now we've got a tab with all the images, and again you can put this in columns and whatnot. So that's what he's doing here. Let's see, and then all the other tabs are pretty much the same thing, but then he's also filtering by tags. So it's from the same category, but these all have the tag raw, so you can add different filters in this thing. So here I'm just showing everything from fruit, but I can also put in a tab that says tag is favorite, for instance. I think that was one. Yeah, favorite. And again, that would be favorites. And we'll just leave this the same. We can put this all on one line. That would mean there would be no enters in between the images. So now we've got all, and we've got 3 favorite fruits here. So that's what he's doing here. So he's filtering down, and you can see all the women fighters that will smack you down whenever you enter the ring. So that's pretty cool. And you can enter one of these guys and see the actual article. Another one is here is doing a 3-column layout like we showed earlier. It's pretty much the same approach. So he's showing all the articles with the image that's found inside the article. So this is just an image, and so that could be the intro image you connect to in the images tab, or just an image you put into the content with the title and the link and everything, and you can order it how you want and filter it how you want. The cool thing is we can also, and I think I have an example ready for that. So yeah, we'll just show this tabs one. So what I'm doing here is it's pretty much the same example. I'll just show you the output so you know what I'm talking about. So here we've got an article, we've got a tab with all the animals and a tab with all the fruit, with all the images and titles, and you can click on them. Too many tabs open. So what I'm doing is I'm searching for all the articles in animals, ordering them by title. This would be redundant in this case, can be just like that. It defaults to ascending. If it's the first article, it will open the tab with the total number, like we also saw on the other website. Then we put in it's checking if there is an image. So if there is a first image found in the website, it will show, and then we need to go to the HTML. We'll just open this one. You can read it a bit better. Come on. So what it's doing is it's checking if there is an image. If so, it will output its own image with the alt tags and title tags that you want. So here it's actually putting the title of the article in the alt tag. And if it's not found, it's defaulting to an image, a default image. So in this case, here the cats and dogs have their own image, and the snakes one doesn't, so it defaults to the default animal image. So here we have no image. And the fruit all have their own image. Where were we? And then under that, it's pretty much the same thing, only it's using the fruit, and it's the exact same layout, only using a different default image. Now here you see a situation where you're pretty much copy pasting and doing the exact same thing for different article categories, and that's not very dry. We're repeating ourselves, but we can solve that. So this whole block here between the beginning and the end of articles is pretty much a copy paste with only one difference. So let's see if we can clean that up to make it reusable. What we can do is, and we'll jump to the HTML in this case, we can put, we can grab this whole area, and I'm just shamelessly naming another extension of mine now. That was the example tabs thing. I've got another little extension called Snippets, and you can create a snippet and say, there we place this code in. So that's the exact same code we saw earlier. And then instead of this whole thing, we can just call this snippet, which is tab article. And then for the second one, we can also just use snippets tab article. And now we can actually see what we're doing. We're this whole if last thing can go away. So we're calling the animals, doing an ordering on title, and returning a snippet that has the actual layout that we want. Now, the only thing that was different between these was the location of the default image. And if we go to the snippet I had, the way I solved that was to not to use the category alias inside the path to the default image. So I've got images, and for fruit it would be images/fruit/default, and for animals/animals. So now this whole snippet is completely dynamic based on what category you're passing to it. So let's see if this works. Did we save this? So it's still working. We can take that one step further, because we're still repeating. I've got too much tabs open here. Let's close some stuff down. Buy Smackdown Hotel, buy Byte. We're still repeating a lot of stuff here that we might not need to repeat. If you want the ordering to be different, that's fine, but we've still got this whole tag here. So maybe we can just make this simpler, and instead of saying we want to repeat this, just have a snippet. And I'll just show you the implementation. I created a second one, and we pass on the category of what we want. So in this case, that would be animals, and under it we would want fruit, and then get rid of this. And that still works. And why does it work? It doesn't work, by the way. I think there's some diff somewhere. No, that should be okay-ish. Let's try and fix that. So let's look at the article tab. What I'm doing here is, this is the snippet. I'm doing this articles thing. I'm passing on the dynamic thing we passed in the snippets tag, which was either fruit or animals, and returning it here. And then have this whole layout we had earlier. You could even push in the snippet we made earlier, so nest the snippets, but that might make it more complex than needed. And let's see why this was not working correctly. So there's somewhere it's closing a diff too much. Let's see, we just thing here was probably I have to refer to paragraphs here. Yeah, that's it. So now we have this whole layout, which is completely reusable. And if you want to create it somewhere else, you just put in a snippet, pass on the category we want, and it just does the magic for you. And this is readable. You don't have this mumbo jumbo code in there. It's all hidden away in a snippet. Much time do I have? 5 minutes? So I should stop and ask for questions. Well, this is pretty much what I wanted to show, so that's good. So I hope this kind of triggered your head for thoughts about what you can do and how much power there is in it. These data tags that are available, there's a lot more possible than I showed here. I didn't even get into that you can use custom fields now to do stuff. You can also filter on custom fields, which core can't do yet, but you can just make a list of articles that have a certain value in a custom field. Output custom fields however you want it. So yeah, it's pretty powerful. Any questions? No? Was it too complicated?
I'd be interested to see, that was my question about custom fields, whether they're supported. How does it look if you want to emit custom fields?
Yeah, I'll just see if I think I already added a custom field somewhere. Let's see, that would probably be in apples. Fields. So we have animals. Let's see, we'll just create a simple custom field. Field. We'll just put a text field in there. Is that okay? I'm going to say our field, or I don't know, name. That's fine. Oh, name. Like that. This is all buried away in a snippet now. Content snippets. That one. So here we could say, instead of just the title, that would be this. We could say, come on, where am I? Here. Under the title, we want to show the custom field, which was called name. And why is that not working? That could be good. Yes. Yep. So there's no values there yet. Name, come on, clicky click, waiting for the voice control. Name of my apples, Fred. Like that, and we'll just put it in brackets here. And then I can show you something else we can do. So now we have Fred, the apples, and the rest is all empty. Now you can say, hey, this sucks. Now we have empty parentheses. So what we can do is say, if name, then output it. And we have that. You can even say if name, show the name, and else say no name. Like that. You can also say we don't want the name only, we want the that would be what's the syntax for that? Would that be output is label? Not sure what the syntax is. It's on my website in the documentation. Nope. Let's see. Custom fields. So you can tell it to say, oh, label only. Fine. Or we'll say just label is true. It's even better. Then we can get rid of this. And here it says name is Fred. So now it also adds the label of the field to it. So you can use it to, by default it just outputs the value of the field, but you can use it to output also the label and the field, and you can also tell it to use a certain layout. So you can override give it a path to a certain layout file. So it's pretty powerful. Also, when you have selects, like multiple values, then you have a value of the actual thing and the name. Like if you have a select of countries in this case or areas, the actual value might be AS, but the name of that value is Asia. So you can tell it which value it should output. You might need one to create classes and the other one to actually for the visual stuff. So yeah, it's pretty. Does that answer your question?
Excuse me. So you said this also works within modules?
Yes. Okay.
And you can also extract content from modules?
Not from modules, but from articles. So what you can do is we have this whole setup of the contents. We'll close this one. So we have the example, not the blog, sorry. The example tabs. Like we can grab this code, close it, create a module, custom, plonk it in there, stuff, whatever. Let's see. And now we have the same thing here. Another cool module I prepared earlier, forgot to show you. Let's see, which one was that? Custom is, oh, favorites. Oh yeah, the favorites. If I go to fruit, we have a little custom module here, and it's showing other favorites. In this case, I have three fruits from the 6 that I added a tag favorite to. So apples, bananas, and blueberries. What I can do in a module is say, I want to show all the, and I'll show it a bit bigger here, what's happening. I want to show the category current, and when it sees current, it uses the category of the active of the active article. So in this case, apples is the active article, and it will, in the side here, it will use the category attached to that. So in this case, it would be fruit. And then I'm saying another filter is articles. So you can give it extra list of articles it should listen to. And I'm saying don't list this current article. So in the side, I don't want to show apples here as well, just the other ones. You might want that, and you just remove this. And then it would list apples there as well. And I want the tag favorite, so it removes everything that doesn't have the tag favorite. And I want to order it by title. And then if it's empty, it says no favorites found. So if I would go to a different fruits, then oranges, doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Don't know. Not sure. That should work. Oh, bug there. Probably fixed tomorrow. Anyway, that will be fixed. The thing I was running into with making this example, and that's probably part of the problem, is I wanted the image to be small, and so that means you need to create your own HTML image tag and pass in the URL of the image, so you can tell it a width needs this, and I didn't have anything in place to override these settings, so I thought that's a bit stupid. I'll better change that. So now you can pass on these the width of a 20 and an alt text of whatever you want inside the tag, and this is not live yet, so that will be released probably Monday or Tuesday when I get out of bed. But you can also give it a suffix. And what this does is it grabs the article and adds a suffix to the end of the name of the image, so just before the extension. So if we look at this one, it's now not using the main apples image, but apples_t. So then you would have to have an apples_t image for this to work. So in my folders, that would take too long. In my folder, I have apples and an apples_t, which is a tiny image of a few pixels. So that prevents you from having to load this big image just to show a little icon. So if you give it a suffix of, I don't know, thumbnail, if that's how you want to deal with it, that would work. But in this case, I don't have these images, so it would use the alt text instead. This was completely not related to the question, but fun anyway.
Thank you for answering.
Okay.
A question?
Oh, is there still time for a question?
Let's take one more.
Okay, one more question.
The custom text you use for the empty, can you use the custom language in the backend of Joomla?
In this case, it will just output whatever. What you put here.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't pass it through the Joomla text, but because now you can put anything what you want here, but also style it, like you can underscore it, and so this is just plain HTML that you put in here. You can easily make a tag to pass language strings with replacer, but the time is gone, so I can't. If I have another hour, I can explain replacer. But then you can do stuff like JText or whatever you want to call it, and say my string, and it will just translate it on the fly. you can do that with Replacer.
Thanks.
Yes, I think we're way out of time. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I'll be here all weekend.